Nick Sorter got arrested for defending himself during one of these protests the other night. And we have this from Fox News. Portland police arrest conservative journalist on another night of chaotic anti-ICE clashes. Conservative journalist Nick Sorter told Fox News he was jumped by Antifa thugs. Let's see, what does this video say?
Hey.
Whoa.
All the bike police rolling up.
What's your name, bro?
Talk about all the
I'm
beeping.
ready to turn that phone off. Let me scan your body.
That's the secret. He's doing the show from the porcelain throne. No. He's just done the show from the... No. The acoustics in the bathroom are terrible. Why would I do that? Yeah, there's been a lot of videos over the weekend of people getting pulled into this ICE facility and arrested. But the local authorities aren't, like, doing anything. Aren't really doing much. I don't know what the beeping's all about. Oh, it's because it's Fox News. They're censoring all the cuss words and stuff. Whatever. But yeah, so it says here, conservative journalist Nick Sorter was captured on video being taken into custody in Portland, Oregon, during another night of chaotic protests outside a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility. The arrest came after Portland Police Bureau said it was monitoring the protests during the evening and observed some protest participants engaging in fights. Nick Sorter was charged with disorderly conduct in the second degree. This was a big surprise to me, as it was to everybody else. All of a sudden, I'm being jumped by Antifa thugs, Sorter told Fox News correspondent Bill Malugan following his release. I get back up, I stumble away, and I go back toward cops where I think, at least, all right, well, maybe there's a safer place for me to go. Never suspected that I was going to be the target of the arrest, that they were coming into me. When they put me into handcuffs, the first thing that went through my mind is, oh, you're being arrested. They're trying to help you get you out of here and make it look like they're doing something, because they aren't telling me what they were doing. They weren't telling me I was under arrest. They weren't telling me what I was being charged with. And it took over an hour for me to find out what I was charged with. ICE director says Portland facility faces violence with little help from local police. Yeah, the local police haven't been doing anything. We'll talk about that next. A Portland Police Bureau spokesperson told Fox News Digital that among those arrested Thursday was an individual known to have a significant social media presence, as well as others representing a range of political viewpoints. As with all such situations, arrests are based on observed behavior and probable cause, not political affiliation or public profile. Formal charges will be determined by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. PPB remains, that's Portland Police Bureau, I'm assuming, remains committed to protecting public safety, upholding the rights of all individuals to lawfully assemble, and enforcing the law impartially. Yeah, but they're not peacefully assembling. They tried to jump this guy. They tried to jump Nick Sorter. And then you have, you had this fight going on, too. This is a separate incident, but this guy was instigating the guy on the right, and he started taking swings on him. Let's see. Post-millennial investigative reporter Katie Daviscourt said on X that police announced that they were making targeted arrests following several scuffles. Sorter was being targeted by Antifa shortly before. So they threw multiple punches at me. They broke my camera by hitting that, so I was on the ground at that point. I tried to swing. I missed. I think I have every right to swing on somebody that has got me on the ground and has me on the ground after punching me and after breaking my equipment. Portland Bureau... So I was right. Yeah. Portland Police Bureau said at about 8:09 p.m., the Bureau dialogue officers observed two men fighting near the ICE driveway. The DLOs called in additional resources and officers were responding when the fight ended following one participant being knocked to the ground. He did not lose consciousness and never requested medical help. Both involved were detained by federal law enforcement and were later released. Neither party indicated they wanted to make a police report. Well, yeah, I think Portland, I don't know if it's Portland or it's just the state of Oregon in general, but they have mutual combat laws, I'm pretty sure. So you are allowed to engage in mutual combat. But at about 11:16 p.m., Portland police said its rapid response team moved in and arrested 3 people who were all booked in the Multnomah County Detention Center. Police identified those arrested on the disorderly conduct charge as Nicholas Sorter, 27, of Washington, D.C., Sun Mai Yi, 43, of Portland, and Angela Davis, 49, of Vernonia, Oregon. So here, let's actually watch the video from Nick Sorter. So Nick Sorter posted this video. I guess this was posted by Rain D. Amacher. But he said, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, I will be arraigned in Portland for disorderly conduct to the second degree. I will not take a plea deal of any kind because I did nothing wrong. I will fight this until the end and expose Portland police in the process. This is the altercation that I'm supposedly being charged for, an altercation where I was clearly the victim, asked my assailant multiple times to leave me alone, gave multiple warnings, etc., before I was punched and pushed into a hole. My assailant was not arrested. We have identified the person and will be making a post on that later today. So let's watch the, roll the tape. Roll the tape.
I'm walking down the street.
First, they have to cover their face.
Get out of here! I'll fuck your ass up! I will fuck your ass up! Get out of here! Get out of here now! You're gonna get fucking paid! Don't fucking touch me!
Yeah, there's a mob of people pushing him. They all support it. You can hear all of them laughing.
Nice rainbow color. I like your rainbow.
They're still all surrounding him. The person that took the first swing, of course, ran away. Ridiculous. He said F out of here, white boy, too. Wow. Let's see, what else does it say here? Mulligan also said on an X post that he had spoken to Sorter on the phone after he was released from custody. Mulligan said that Sorter told him that he was getting video of protesters getting maced by federal agents, which was embarrassing video for them as they were crying, etc. He says that they were then swarmed around and surrounded him, pushed him down into a flower bed, and someone threw a punch. Nick says he swung back and missed, then disengaged and walked over to a group of Portland PD. He says he was then shocked to be arrested by them, and he sat in the back of the police cruiser while officers figured out what to charge him with. I asked him about the female protester who was also arrested with him. He said he talked to her in jail, and she didn't seem like she was the one who assaulted him. Well, according to the video, it was a very heavy-set male. Sorter appeared to be covering the unrest in Portland at the Portland ICE facility prior to being taken into custody. In one video posted to his X account, Sorter said an individual just jumped onto federal property at the Portland ICE facility and challenged agents to do something about it, and they did, quickly. The dude ended up on the pavement, arrested, dragged into the facility. Yeah, I think, is that the video where they had him on top of a car? I think there was that might be a separate video, but I think I saw it on Friday. Someone jumped on top of a car, and then they got friggin' tackled. It was pretty funny. An exclusive interview with Mulligan, Camilla Wamsley, director of Portland's ICE office, previously said that the facility has faced violence for more than 100 consecutive nights, with Portland police largely absent under guidance from the mayor and city council. It's frustrating for us to watch people be attacked on the street and know that we don't have the authority to be able to really step up unless there's some nexus to federal law. She said nightly protests have escalated beyond chants and signs, with bottle rockets striking the ICE building and rocks shattering windows, lasers targeting officers' eyes, and barricades blocking vehicles. Wamsley said protesters had followed ICE staff members home and doxed at least 6 employees. Yeah, Portland, Oregon, the lawmakers there and the police department there are refusing to aid anything to do with the federal law enforcement that's there right now. And in fact, even though they have no authority to do so, this is crazy, guys. And this is happening now in multiple states. We now have the California National Guard being sent into Oregon because a federal judge has blocked the National Guard of Oregon from being deployed. So now we have another state sending its military in to go and quell unrest. And it's not just Oregon and California. We also see Illinois and Texas. Texas National Guard, 400 Texas National Guard have now been called up to be sent to Illinois to go and help secure Chicago. We have active, I don't know what else you call this. These cities are in active rebellion against the United States government. They're doing everything within their power to not openly be enacting a civil war. I don't know what else we call it at this point besides a civil war. What is the history books going to call this? We had a government shutdown that it's projected to last over a month. And in the midst of that shutdown, while mass deportations are trying to be carried out, which is within the full authority of the United States government, the federal government has full authority over who's allowed to be in this country and who's not. States do not get to decide that, and that was a major issue back when Texas was trying to remove people because they can't. They're not allowed to. As much as I would love for Texas to start deporting people, they're not allowed to. So with that, you have that same argument where it's like, oh, they're not allowed to deport people because they don't have the authority. But now you have states and counties and cities trying to block the federal government from enacting deportation when that's their authority. They have the sole authority to do that. And then federal judges trying to block the use of the military. The commander-in-chief has full authority over the military. You cannot tell Donald Trump what to do with the military. He's the commander-in-chief. And if someone can override Donald Trump's decision on what to do with the military, he's no longer the commander-in-chief. He's no longer the chief of the military. So this is insane. I just saw a story that the SCOTUS said Trump can't use CA National Guard in Portland. Yeah, but so what does that leave us with then, Boosh? Do we just send in the actual military? Like, oh, all right, National Guard's not working. Let's just send in the Marines. Send in the Marines. Screw it. Whatever. Insurrection. Sorry, my inner AOC came out. I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like an insurrection. Most retarded civil war ever. Could just not mutilate kids. That'd be cool. Could not be dumbass commies and corrupt POSs. But no, we aren't allowed to have nice things here. Look, we live in two different worlds at this point. We live in two completely different worlds. Melted, you can't say that. You cannot say that. That's not gonna repeat that. But we have other stories. Let's see. This is another one that's a part of this. Let's see. Pull this one up. ICE director says that Portland facility faces violence with little help from local police. Federal agencies target Antifa-linked groups as Trump announces 200 National Guards for Portland. And then I don't know what this video is. Don't care. Federal immigration officials said that their Portland, Oregon facility has come under nightly attacks with little help from local police because of political directives from city leaders. In an exclusive interview with Fox News' Bill Malugan, Kamala Wamsley, director of Portland's ICE office, said that the facility has faced violence for more than 100 consecutive nights, with Portland police largely absent under guidance from the mayoral and city council. It's frustrating for us to watch people be attacked on the streets and know that we don't have the authority to be able to really step in unless there's some nexus of federal law. She said that nightly protests have escalated beyond chants and signs, with bottle rockets striking the ICE building, rocks shattering windows, lasers targeting officers' eyes, and barricades blocking vehicles. They're actively attacking this place. This place is under siege. Wamsley said protesters have followed ICE staff members home and doxed at least 6 employees. Yeah, and that's exactly why they wear masks. That is exactly why they wear masks, because these people are actively trying to dox them and where they live. Later, towards the evening and around dark, there are a lot of folks that come up dressed in all black. They do that on purpose to obfuscate who they are and make it easier to commit crimes without repercussion. That's why they wear all black. That's why they cover their faces. It's a little easier to tell who they are when they're massive tubs of lard, but when you have a bunch of twigs walking around, it's hard to tell which twig is swinging. They are here to wreak havoc. They'll block our cars, throw paint, damage property, and even try to follow our folks home. She warned that when crowds swell quickly, the violence becomes more dangerous. We've seen it before. The folks here can go from a crowd of 50 to a crowd of 1,000 in about 30 minutes. Sometimes we only have 20 officers here. We would not be able to defend the building with that show of force. Wamsley said the Portland Police Department has been slow to respond and sometimes doesn't respond at all because of its city policy. She explained that assaults have occurred outside and across the street from the building, but police have either taken too long to arrive or not shown up at all. That is not the stance they would take 6 blocks from here, but it is the stance that they would take with us because of guidance from the mayor and the city council. That's ridiculous, and that's absolutely intentional. If the police aren't showing up to handle this crowd of people, they're doing it intentionally because of the local politics and because these local police are in favor of what's going on here at the end of the day. Because if these police weren't in favor, they'd show up and handle this. But when they're showing up late or not at all, it's to allow time for these people to get away and not face repercussions. Fox News Digital has reached out to Portland mayor's office and police department for comment. Still, Wamsley said staff remain committed to their mission despite the unrest. The people that work here are here to serve the American public. They are here to enforce the same immigration laws we've had in place since the 1950s. Nothing has changed in that regard. We come to work every day. We do our jobs the way that we have been doing it, and we'll continue to do that. Todd Rignall, Assistant Special Agent of Homeland Security Investigations in Oregon, said federal agencies are targeting Antifa-linked groups they blame for organizing much of the unrest. They're not just facing HSI, they're facing the FBI, ATF, DEA, IRS, all of these agencies. That's a force to be reckoned with. Portland remains a flashpoint for unrest in with the ICE facility at the center of nightly confrontations. President Trump announced plans to send 200 National Guards to Portland to support immigration authorities. Officials said the troops would be stationed near protest areas. And then it wants us to download the Fox News app. But like you guys were saying in the chat, it looks like these are being blocked. So here, let me see if I could find an article on that real quick. Let's go. Let's see. National Guard. Portland blocked. What are you guys saying in the chat in the meantime? In Minecraft melted. Yeah, in Minecraft melted. You're supposed to say in Minecraft. It wasn't SCOTUS. It was a lower federal judge, of course, but I agree with you. It's dumb. Look, if these federal judges don't have that authority, they don't have the authority to do that. The federal judges don't have the authority to dictate what he does with the military. It is long past time to ignore these judges. If it doesn't come directly from the Supreme Court, it should be treated with a grain of salt, and then you should continue anyway. Trump should continue with his plan. Screw these federal judges. I don't think their opinion matters very much, if at all. Let's see. So we have this from the Guardian. Guardian says that a judge blocks deployment of National Guard to Oregon as Newsom vows to sue. California governor says president attacking rule of law as Trump appointed judge rules twice to stop use of military. I like how they say that it's a Trump appointed judge, if that matters. It's the same thing with the Joe Biden appointed judges, right? Like, I don't care if it's a Joe Biden judge. I honestly don't care if it's a Trump judge. What I care about is if they're upholding the law and if they're actually benefiting the country as a whole. Because you could be a Trump appointed judge all you want, but if you side with the Democrats and side with or if you side against the rule of law, then I don't care. I really don't. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from deploying any National Guard units to Oregon a few hours after the California governor, Gavin Newsom, announced that he would be suing the president over the planned deployment of his state troops. Well, sucks to suck. He can federalize the troops. You don't have authority over that. And this federal judge blocking the deployment of National Guard, no, you don't have the authority to do that either. So you can say that the Trump administration's blocked, but I say the Trump administration just ignore you, and possibly, you just go in and arrest these judges. If you have to impeach them first, maybe we can look into that, but I highly doubt the local politics are going to allow for these judges to be impeached, right? And yes, Bukele was talking about what has to happen with these judges. Bukele came out in a statement. He was addressing everyone. I think it was like one of his state of addresses, and he said that it's come time for the United States to arrest and impeach these judges. But if the judges cannot be impeached because of the local politics, then I say you go in and arrest all of them. You go arrest all of them. If the mayor and his cabinet are actively defying federal law and actively ruling against law and order, and then these judges are backing those decisions, the only solution is to go in and clean house. The only solution is to go in and arrest all of them. And especially, we're going to get into the Chicago mayor's comments here soon, because he literally said that the right-wing party wants a rematch of the Civil War. They're actively saying that we want a Civil War.
Very nice.
Hell yeah, R. Sergeant, what's up? Do these effing idiots understand that by creating executive orders and legal injunctions to stop the enforcement of federal law, they are in fact committing insurrection? Nail on the head, right there. When you defy the federal government in this way, I mean, sanctuary cities, for example. Sanctuary cities are not legal. The states, cities, counties, whatever, do not have the jurisdiction to sit there and make laws that actively defy the federal government. More arrest, more arrest, more arrest. Exactly, Dr. Banks. And thank you, R. Sergeant, for the Rumble Rant. I appreciate it, man. And like I said, he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. It is come time to defy these judges, to defy these politicians. We need to unapologetically enforce the rule of law. It has come time to ignore these judges, ignore these local politicians. We need to send troops in and restore law and order. It's come time. We're long past this. If we don't go in and do this now, they will make the last 8 years look like a walk in the park. If we allow them to take back the midterms, if we allow them to take back the presidency, the last 8 years will look like a goddamn walk in the park, and we will not be ready for what is to come. We need to step in, and we need to step up. It's come time. While we have the levers of power, we need to use them. Trump needs to use the levers of power so long as he is at the control of them. Because if he doesn't use them now, the Democrats will use them when they get in, and they will use them with the full force against us. Let's see. The ruling by U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut said that there was no evidence that recent protests necessitated the presence of National Guard troops, no matter where they came from. Immergut asked a Trump administration lawyer during a hearing on Sunday night, how could bringing in federalized National Guard from California not be in direct contravention of the decision I issued yesterday? I don't give a shit about your decision yesterday. I don't give a shit about your decision yesterday, because you're sitting in a courtroom saying, well, I don't think it's necessary for the National Guard to come in. Meanwhile, the local police department is literally doing nothing. They're not arresting these protesters. They're not having a presence in these areas. They're leaving the federal officers to fend for themselves. What are they doing to stop people from being followed home? Like, this is... are we civil warring yet? I've been saying this all weekend. We are in an open civil war. This is I don't even think you can call it a cold civil war anymore. We are absolutely past the point of civil strife. Excuse me. Steven Crowder pointed this out, and he's not the only one. We haven't gone more than 48, 72 hours without a major terrorist attack. We haven't gone more than 2 to 3 days without a major, massive news story and terrorist attack that is politically polarizing. At what point do we call it a civil war? At what point do we call it a civil war? Every 2 to 3 days, there is another massive attack on some place, somewhere, or a massive political story that divides us. I mean, we have the story in West Virginia that I need to pull up about that guy calling for the death of his opponent. He literally calling for the death of his opponent and cheering on the death of his kids and wife. This is an active rebellion. This is an act of rebellion, and it needs to be quelled before it's too late. What is it? What do you call it when one side refuses to fight against another side that is unyielding in their fight? What do you call it when one side stands there and says, hold on, let's have civil conversation, while the other side says, screw you, you need to die, and actively acts on it? Well, that's called a revolution. So we have one or two outcomes here. Either we allow a revolution by the Democrats, or we enact a civil war and fight back. Those are our options. Those are literally our options. Either we allow a revolution by the Democrats, or we enact a civil war and quell this. Because that's what they want. They're actively saying it. Even the Chicago mayor is actively saying it. The ruling by U.S. District Judge, I already read that one. Emmergut's ruling on Sunday, which will remain in effect until at least the 19th of October, blocks the Trump administration from sending any National Guard troops to Portland, Oregon, and California to seek a longer-term ruling in court. Earlier on Sunday, Newsom said the National Guard troops were already on their way to Oregon. The Trump administration is unapologetically attacking the rule of law itself and putting into action their dangerous words, ignoring court orders, and treating judges, even those appointed by the president himself, as political opponents. Because they are being political opponents. They're no longer being politically neutral. They're no longer partisan. They are partisan. This is not bipartisan. They are not making neutral decisions anymore. They are political opponents, whether appointed by Trump or not. And they'll sit there and say, "Oh, but Trump appointed this judge." I don't care. Neither does Trump. And the judge doesn't care that she was appointed by Trump either. She's not holding up the rule of law. And it's funny that you have Gavin Newsom attacking Donald Trump, saying that we're attacking the rule of law itself. Well, what do you call it when you actively defy the federal government and defy federal law? Well, you're attacking the rule of law. So who's really attacking the rule of law here? The president, who's actively trying to send in law enforcement officers to quell violence and enforce the law, or the people trying to block that? Who's attacking the rule of law? The people trying to enforce the rule of law, or the people trying to prevent it? Well, I would say the people trying to prevent the rule of law are the ones attacking it. But I don't know. That's just me, I guess. Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell announced the deployment on Sunday. At the direction of the president, approximately 200 federalized members of the California National Guard will be reassigned from duty in the greater Los Angeles area to Portland, in Oregon, to support U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and other federal personnel offering official duties, including the enforcement of federal law and to protect federal property. Caroline Turco, Portland's senior deputy attorney, said that there had been, Portland's senior deputy attorney said that there had been no violence against ICE officers for months, and that recent ICE protests were sedate, sometimes featuring fewer than a dozen protesters, and the week before the president declared the city to be a war zone. Well, that's just an outright lie. We have all the videos from over the weekend. We have this video from Nick Sorter. This is not dozens of people. Just in this small area. Look, I mean, look, there's not a lot of people behind him, right? And then the moment all this shit breaks out, now all these people surround him. Yeah, definitely doesn't look violent to me, as they all cheer it on. Doesn't look violent to me, right, guys? Look at all these people. All these people, just in this small area. This isn't even directly in front of the ICE facility. This is like down the street. But yeah, no, there's no violence, right? We need to arrest these people. It is way past time to start arresting these people. They're actively lying to obfuscate and defend their side and protect their side because they're in favor of this. This isn't about public safety. It's about power. We will take this fight to court, but the public cannot stay silent in the face of such reckless and authoritarian conduct by the President of the United States. This is not authoritarian. It's not authoritarian. And even if it was, I'm in favor of it at this point. If we need authoritarianism to quell the violence and to expel the people that no longer need to be in government and in this country, so be it. Joey's talked about this, but it seems like we're at the point now where we need an overcorrection. We need an overcorrection to shift the Overton window, because without an overcorrection at this point, I don't think there's any hope. In a statement on X, Oregon Attorney Dan Rayfield, this is Oregon's Attorney General, said that the state was quickly assessing our options and preparing to take legal action. The president is obviously hell-bent on deploying the military in American cities. Absent facts or authority to do so, it is up to us and the courts to hold him accountable. That's what we intend to do. He has the full authority to do that. When a city, when a county, when a state refuses to uphold law and is so deeply rotted inside and out that they will not enforce the law and actively defy the federal government, Donald Trump has a duty to go and quell that. When a state or county or city is in active rebellion against federal law and the federal government, the federal government has a duty, has an obligation to go and correct that. That's what they're there for. Now, who corrects the federal government? Well, us as the American population is supposed to do that. Doesn't always work out. But right now, we have Trump in office, and we need him to use his authority and use his ability to root out this corruption in every state. In every state. In a statement on X, Oregon's Attorney General, we already read that one. The California National Guard referred questions to the Defense Department. A department spokesperson declined to comment. Let's see. A response from the White House Deputy Press Secretary Abigail Jackson read that President Trump exercised his lawful authority to protect federal assets and personnel in Portland following violent riots and attack on law enforcement. For one, Gavin Newsom should stand on the side of law-abiding citizens instead of violent criminals destroying Portland and cities across the country. See, that's the thing, right? They'll sit there and say, oh, but there's only a few dozen people, and they're not even that violent, if they're even violent at all. And they'll say that, and then people will take those comments and say, look, there's no violence. You don't need to send in the National Guard because there's no violence. Meanwhile, people are getting doxxed. They're getting followed home. They're trying to have their identities exposed. And then they're actively being attacked. They're being attacked. The federal building is being sieged upon. These cities do not own these federal buildings. Federal buildings are owned by who? The federal government. So if the local police department is not defending these federal buildings, the federal government has to step in and use all available resources to defend it. Is China sending ops in to help with the leftist cultists, do you think? I wouldn't doubt it. I certainly wouldn't doubt it. Trump had first announced his plan on the 27th of September, saying that he was authorizing full force if necessary, despite pleas from Oregon officials and the state congressional delegation, who said that there had been a single uneventful protest outside one federal immigration enforcement office. They're outright lying. They are obviously lying. The videos do not lie. The videos do not lie. This is not one night of uneventful protest. This is a over 100-day siege of a federal building trying to enforce federal law. Let's see. Is there any more I should read here? We're almost done here. It says, during his first term in 2020, he deployed federal forces to the city amid the protest over the murder by police of George Floyd in Minneapolis. The protests spread across the U.S., but were especially heightened in Portland. Despite protests against ICE being relatively small in the state this year, Trump has used them as a justification to deploy troops. Speaking on X about the latest move from Trump, Newsom said, "It's appalling, it's un-American, and it must be stopped." Well, what is he supposed to do when local authorities and the state won't help him? What is the federal government to do when the local authorities will not help and they refuse to help? When they refuse to uphold federal law, what do you expect Donald Trump to do? A genuine question. What do you expect Donald Trump to do when federal law is no longer being upheld? The general question, just a genuine question. I mean, what else do you call it? What else do you call it? Let's see. We have a lot of news to get into today.